Welcome to the bonus stage, a podcast produced in association with oceanofbees.com. I'm your host, Marauder, and with my co-host, Phoenix923, we're going to sit and talk about, well, what else? Games.
Welcome to Bonus Stage.
Hello and welcome to Bonus Stage, the podcast associated with oceanofbees.com. I am Ryan, your host, otherwise known as Marauder on the forums.
And I am Brett, otherwise known as Phoenix923, so welcome.
Yes. Anyway, this is the first episode of what we hope to be many episodes of this podcast, so this one's going to be a little bit loose, not too much structure to it, and I thought we'd start out just by introducing who we are and a little bit of our gaming history, so as to give you guys an idea of why exactly we're doing this in the first place.
Why are we interesting? Why should we listen to these two idiots?
Because we're better than everyone else?
Well, of course.
Well, that just seems like a given. Anyway, yes, my name is Ryan, otherwise known as Marauder or marauderNOR on YouTube. And I've been playing games ever since I can remember. I don't actually remember any time I wasn't playing a game. I grew up with the Game Boy, and then I got a Super Nintendo, and then a 64. My older sister had a Nintendo Entertainment System and an Atari 2600. And I just grew up from there, and I've picked up every console usually when they come out. I have probably 3,000 or so games in my room, give or take.
Ranging from various consoles.
Yes, from every console, from the Atari 2600, the Atari Jaguar, the TurboGrafx 16, all the way up to current gen. I actually did just get a PS3, so I'm having fun with it, but it's something else. Anyway, and I have a series on YouTube called Marauder's Retro Adventures, where I review games for the Sega Genesis, which is by far my favorite system of all time. Right up there with the Dreamcast, but honestly, the Genesis breaks less often. So, it's probably why it's my favorite. And, yeah. So how about you?
Well, my name is Brett, otherwise known as Phoenix923 on YouTube. I don't actually have a video channel because, well, I'm lazy. But,
he just piggybacks on my success.
Of course. But, I've been playing games since, well, same here, since I can ever remember. My first ever system was an Atari 2600, and I played the hell out of that when I was a kid. And just kind of gotten the game consoles that were coming out over the years. Of course, we never got them whenever they were released. It was just kind of a cheap, used version of everything.
You always wait till that $600 PlayStation hit like $200.
Yep, because I was never in a hurry to get them. Mm-hmm. I mean, geez, I think I got the PlayStation at the end of the PlayStation cycle before the PS2 came out.
Yep.
But while I don't own as many games as Ryan, I do enjoy playing games.
You play a lot more games than I do. That's
well,
at least
a lot of computer
selection.
Games.
Yeah.
I'm more of a computer gamer, while you do have more console titles. But
yeah, I have recently been getting into PC gaming, but you were far more into it than I was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually you who bought me Fear.
Yes.
On the PC, which is one of the best games ever made, in my opinion, and one of my favorite, probably top 5 games, bar none. And you know the old Toshiba I used to have before the Asus I have now. That Toshiba, man, that was a good workhorse of a PC, but when it came to games, I think I ran Fear. It ran Fear with everything turned off or down.
Yep.
And the resolution was like 620
640 by 480
or 640 by 480 stretched because I was.
Yeah, that reminds me of my desktop when I was playing that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and you just got wireless too, not too long ago for your house. So
yeah, just because I didn't think it was that easy.
Yeah, it literally is that easy. Hook up a Wi-Fi router and you're set to go, pretty much. But anyway. Yeah, so we've just been gaming our entire lives, and I've been on oceanofbees.com for a couple of months now.
Yeah.
Hopefully they like me still.
Hopefully.
Yes. In the future, of course, we hope to have guests on this podcast and, people to kind of throw the conversation in different directions. But for now, it's just the two of us, so enjoy. Anyway, up to the next section of the podcast, the news and articles, and basically, if we had any news to talk about.
Any random interesting stuff we find or want to talk about or rant on or anything.
I guess the biggest thing in the news right now is that Diablo 3 finally came out. Were you excited for that?
I honestly do not care. It wasn't a game series that I got into, and when I did play it, I just found it kind of mediocre. Oh.
There was a game on Dreamcast called Record of Lotus War, which was a blatant ripoff of Diablo 2, that I liked a lot more than Diablo 2, because it was on the Dreamcast. So I played that a hell of a lot.
Yeah. So
it's almost like I've played Diablo 2, but I haven't. And honestly...
You played Diablo 2 with a different skin.
Yeah, basically I played a mod. But it was a good game. I highly recommend to anybody who's a Diablo fan, go try to track down Record of Lotus War for Dreamcast. It's an interesting take on the genre. But, yes, Diablo 3, I have no interest in whatsoever. I'm not an RPG guy generally, so, I mean, I have a couple of RPGs, and I like a couple of RPGs, but it's not my cup of tea. I would rather sit down with an action game or a platformer.
Yeah, you're the kind of quick to please type of...
I have VG-ADD, video game attention deficit disorder. If I'm not doing something every couple of minutes, it just pisses me off. Although I will say I played a bit more of the Tales of the Abyss on 3DS.
You're welcome.
Yes, this is fun, but the thing that I hated was when they go to take over the Tartarus or take back the Tartarus from that group that brought the Griffins and the Ligers. And he ends up, accidentally killing the guard, and then he's like, oh, I killed a person. You've been murdering animals for the last 4 hours.
But that's different.
Yeah, but that's different. They don't have a soul.
It's a person.
A person has a soul. So, I don't know, that whole turn seemed kind of weird, but I like the fact that Mew shoots fire on demand. I thought that was cute.
Adorable voice. No, I'm more of the RPG guy, and I was the one who recommended Tales of the Abyss after playing it for a couple of hours to him.
No, you didn't recommend it. What you did was you bought it, and then you brought it over, and then you sat in my room, and that's all you played while I was trying to... You want to play Sonic Racing? Hold on. I get to a save point. It's in the next town over. Hold on a second. Is that a good game? It's really good. You also recommended to me The World Ends With You.
Yes.
Which I didn't get too far into, basically because I picked it up really late. I had my 3DS and everything, so I was more interested in playing the newer games coming out at the time. So it has just kind of been sitting there. I fiddled with it for a couple of hours, but I really got to get back into that. I love the art style. Oh yeah,
the art style is amazing, but I will say that it does take a little bit of the time for the story to start picking up. Generally, after the first couple of days, practically, is when... things really start to hit the fan, and it just grows from there. And I absolutely just love the fighting system in that game. For those of you who hasn't played it, basically you gather badges from monster drops or just throughout the game, and basically how you use them in battle, which is a real-time battle format, is just based on different types of swipes that you do, tapping, different things like that. And I don't know, I just really enjoy the battle system. It's really, really fast-paced, and I actually do not mind getting in battles with that game, just because it's really, really fun.
Yeah, I like I said, the art style blew me away. The battle system is certainly unique. I haven't played anything like it before, where it's kind of turn-based, but kind of real-time, where you're bouncing...
Yeah, bouncing the light puck.
Yeah, you're bouncing the light puck back and forth from the top screen to the bottom screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very interesting take on the whole thing. So yeah, that is quite a good RPG, and it's cheap.
Yes, it is very cheap.
I think I picked mine on Amazon for $10 or something.
Mm.
Brand new, and it's one that I need to get into, but I haven't quite yet.
The list keeps growing for you, doesn't it?
I have a list. It's a mile long, but it's I'm taking care of it.
One game at a time, although it kind of takes you, what, a year?
Yeah, I beat Castlevania Lords of Shadow, and then Jason was like, I told Jason, he's like, I beat that like 8 months ago. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't have like 10 games you're trying to play all at one time. It's really hard for me to focus on one game and get through it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. It's just the same with my like Steam list. I have like, God, I think over 200 games, and I've probably beat maybe an eighth of them.
Well, you can't beat Terraria.
You can, quote-unquote, beat it, but...
Oh, well, that's true.
But basically, my term for beating that is getting all the items and whatnot from... But...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Diablo 3, yeah, that's a game that's
Boy, we
gonna...
got off track.
That is gonna... Yes, that Diablo 3 is definitely going to fly over the radar for me. I don't really care about it all that much. And on top of that... apparently you have to be logged into Blizzard servers when you play it, even in single player. So if you don't have an active internet connection, you're SOL. Which I think is, I am a proponent of any sort of DRM. I hate it. I absolutely hate DRM. I hate CD keys. I hate authorization codes. I hate online passes.
Well, I'm not that opposed to CD keys as long as you just put it in. And there you go. You don't gotta authorize it. You don't got a specific number of uses for it.
Well, yes, that's true. No, yeah.
I'm fine with that. It's just whenever you get like DRM like Securom or Target Shield, I just can't stand it.
There was a game, Dawn of Discovery, that a friend of mine bought for me, which is like The Sims, but well, it's not like The Sims.
It's more like Sim City, kind of.
No, what is that? What is that one game? It's like Civilization.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like Civilization, except you're kind of stuck in one time period. In this case, I think it's
1404.
1404. Okay.
I think that's what the 1404 game.
Yeah, it's like Revolutionary War times or colonial times more so.
Yeah.
And so he bought it for me, and I put it on my old Toshiba, and it just ran very slow. It was barely even playable, and I wasn't enjoying myself. Given the fact that I really did like the game, it just took forever to do anything. So then I bought my new laptop, which has an actual graphics card and a quad-core processor. I go to reinstall the game, and I can't play it. Why? Because apparently I have maxed out the number of uses with that game, which is 1. Apparently they've updated it since then and removed that piece of malicious software, but
no other better word to describe it.
Yeah, it's malicious. It's malicious software. I mean, and this was a game that I did not expect to get. My friend Ken, he was going on and on about it, and I was like, well, yeah, I suppose if somebody bought it for me, I wouldn't be against it, but it just doesn't sound like my kind of game. I mean, it was what, $50, $60?
Yeah, it was $50 at the time.
$50, and I was like, yeah, well, and I didn't have a PC, a really nice PC at the time. That was the other thing, was I had that crappy Toshiba, so it was like I didn't want to go out and buy a $50 PC game that I wasn't positive I could even play. And we go to Best Buy just to browse like we tend to do, and as we walked out, he hands me a copy of Dawn of Discovery that he had purchased for me without my knowledge. And he's like, here, now you have it. Now go home and play it, and we'll talk about it later. And to take that kind of generosity and to shit all over it with a Securom, with that kind of software, is just it's stupid.
It's absolutely stupid.
It's pointless, and it's mean-spirited.
Especially because you just kind of it makes you feel like that, you're the person that they're targeting, they're basically targeting their customers just to try and stop pirates.
Yeah, like the person who went out and bought it legit, is having more problems than if you went out and if you went out and stole it off the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I am against piracy most of the time. The only time I go along with it is when crap like this happens.
Yeah.
And I can't,
because you're being forced to.
There was I forget what CD it was, but there was a band that had a new CD out. I think it was a Linkin Park CD.
Hmm.
Pretty sure. And I went out and I bought the CD because even though I could at the time and I knew where to go and get them online and I could steal it, I wanted to go and buy the CD and support the band and whatever. I tried to put it on my iPod and it wouldn't rip to my computer. Like, I'd put the CD in and the computer would not recognize the CD. But if I put it in like a CD player, it booted right up and would start playing off the CD. And that's fucking stupid. Nobody has a CD player anymore.
Yeah.
So I went online and I stole it off the internet. Because if I can't legitimately get them off the disc that I bought with my own money, what was the point of that? Granted, companies right now are obviously a lot more lenient about letting people put them on portable music players like that, since everybody has an MP3 player of some sort.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is one time where I felt completely justified in doing that. But anyway, DRM is stupid.
DRM is completely stupid.
It's one more reason I want to pick up The Witcher 2, because CD Projekt Red didn't put any DRM on it.
Well, there was DRM initially on it from the publisher. It's just they patched it out almost initially right away.
Oh, good.
So, and I think the publisher tried to sue them over it because of that.
No.
But I don't care.
Self-publish next time.
I don't care. You got the game out. You removed the DRM. Good job.
Yeah, good for you.
Completely.
But yeah, I got to get around to picking that game up, because that's one I keep talking about getting, and I never have enough money.
Yeah.
Oh, I could get that at GameStop at some point when I get that gift card.
Oh, you got to see if you get the Super Ultra Premium edition.
The Super Ultra Mega Awesome Collector's Edition that'll be worth less than the actual game eventually.
Didn't that happen to you like 2 or 3 times? Where you went to go buy a specific game, but then the collector's edition was like $10 cheaper than the actual game.
Twice. Once with what was it?
Death Smiles.
Death Smiles. Yep. Death Smiles was one of them. It was $10 cheaper to buy the collector's edition that came with the faceplate and the CD. Or no, they both come with a soundtrack, but it came with a faceplate. Mm-hmm. I think that was all it came with, was just the bonus faceplate. Mm-hmm. And then Record of Agorist War was like $10 cheaper, and that came with the mouse pad that was really kind of weird, and the pillowcase and all the really weird stuff. But by the way, that's an RPG though that I do actually like. Is Agorist War. I know there's a sequel out, Agorist War 0, which I think is on Xbox and PS3.
Yeah.
But I just haven't gotten around to picking those up. So, whatever. I'll probably pick it up eventually, because I did really, really like the first one. I just like the idea of getting married, having a kid, and then when you die, taking over as that kid.
Yeah. And
continuing the story. It's a concept I haven't seen done in other games. Because usually they set you up like, you are Luke something, like in Tales of the Abyss, and you play the entire game as that character.
Because you are the chosen one. You are the only one who can do this specific task.
Yes, you are the character with amnesia, and you must figure out your future.
No, you must do this because the shiny rock says so.
Or the giant talking tree.
I love RPGs.
Yeah. I just love, when I was playing through Tales of the Abyss, it kind of reminded me a bit of that anime Scrapped Princess, where the princess gets amnesia at one point, and then she gets cured of it, and then the next episode she immediately gets amnesia again. Because it's like the writers couldn't figure out how to continue the story with her knowing everything. So
how can we
they needed to milk it for they needed to milk it for 2 or 3 more episodes. But anyway, this is the so really if you have to get online to play a single player mode in Diablo 3, what the hell is the point of all that? It's upsetting is what it is. But anyway,
God, we are really random.
Yes. Well, you just get going.
Diablo 3 and then talking about games.
Anyway, so moving on to some games we've been playing recently. This is a section of the podcast where we'll just be talking about whatever games we've been playing over the past in between podcasts, really. And just, talk about them a bit, give general first impressions or recommendations. And, so anyway, if you want to lead off on this, Phoenix, you're welcome to.
Well, one game that I have been playing recently, thanks to Steam Daily Deal, is Nation Red, where it's this arcadey top-down shooter where you're just basically fighting waves and waves of zombies that come at you, and you just basically survive as long as you can. There's tons of different play modes, about, God, I don't remember how much, but about like 100 different perks that you can give your character as you're leveling up. And I just find this game amazingly fun for doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. I don't understand it. It's just a blast every time I play it. I mean, sure, I only play it like maybe 2 or 3 games at a time, and then I'm done. But I really enjoy playing that. And for once, okay, I generally do not go online and play with random people. I hate doing that. But with this game...
Well, you don't hate playing with random people. You just hate it when you jump into a server and there's some dick on there who's...
Well, no, it's just... I absolutely just do not like playing with random people. I find it...
Okay.
I just don't... I think it's just I won't find it as fun as, like, playing with, like, you or any of my other friends because, then I can't just sit here and joke around or whatnot as we're playing.
Right, you have to be dead serious because killing zombies is serious business.
But no, after I, hopped online with a couple of random people, it just increased the fun, tenfold, and I've been practically doing it ever since whenever I hop on that game. But
yeah, I mean to pick that up because I saw you showed it to me at one point.
Don't.
But yeah, I didn't pick it up. So
No, I do highly recommend it. If you need something to kill, maybe an hour's worth of your time and have a blast while doing it, get that game.
Okay, a game I've been playing that's kind of like that is I played a lot of Killing Floor this week.
Yeah.
I love Killing Floor. I think Killing Floor is amazing. Basically, Killing Floor is a first-person shooter. Basically, you fight off waves of zombies. And based on the number of zombies you kill, you get money that is used to upgrade your weapons and buy armor and stuff between rounds. But the thing about the game is, it's not like you immediately get to the trader. Like, you have to go find the store somewhere on the map. Mm-hmm. So you're constantly running around looking for where the trader will be. And then you just kind of try to hold off zombies. And there's so many different zombies, and they're all really well designed.
They all balance out each other pretty well.
Yeah, they're different abilities. They're really easy to spot. They all sound different. So the sound design in this game also is surprising. So it's imagine if you were playing Left 4 Dead 2 or Left 4 Dead and you were just fighting specials.
Yeah.
That's basically what this game would be. Headshots are satisfying as all because they pop their heads like balloons, and it's amazing.
And then you get to see their body kind of walk.
Yeah, and then their body kind of just like
flailing around.
Yeah, just kind of wanders off for a couple seconds while blood's spraying from their neck. But it's a co-op game up to 6 players, and it is just so much fun. And the number of zombies on screen differs based on the amount of people playing. So if you're playing with 6 people, there's going to be like 6 times as many zombies as if you were playing by yourself. So it does measure out or try to equalize itself. And then you can determine how many waves you want to play, how long you want to go for, and there's different classes that level up when you meet certain requirements that literally make them stronger.
Yeah. You
feel like you're leveling up, unlike other first-person shooters like that. Payday the Heist comes to mind, which I really like Payday the Heist, don't get me wrong. I love Payday the Heist, but whenever you level up in that game, you never feel like you're accomplishing anything.
Yeah, you don't feel like any change has been made. I mean, you could have, like Tough Skin 5, but you're still getting taken out in like 4 or 5 shots.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like you're leveling up. But in Killing Floor, it really does feel like you're leveling up. You get discounts on class-specific weapons, on certain items. So it really does balance itself out really well.
Mm. Also, another thing on Killing Floor that I do that I find interesting, but I also like as well, is the fact that you do not have a crosshair when you're aiming.
Oh yeah. Yep. There's absolutely no aiming cursor.
The only way you get any sort of hint of aiming is when you pull up your iron sights, and that's about it.
Yep. Well, the sniper rifle has, some of them have scopes and red dot sights.
Well, I think just that one gun has the red dot sight.
Well, the M16 has a red dot sight.
Yeah.
And the M4 has a red dot sight.
I don't know. I don't play those classes.
Certain rifles are easier to aim with because they actually have a little cursor on the top of the gun, but they actually have some sort of a scope. But honestly, I've been getting super good at just shooting.
Yeah.
Just kind of determining where about I would hit and then just spraying and hoping to God they die. It can get really hectic when you're playing with, just a couple people and you start getting overrun. It's
when you start to notice that you have to fight off like hundreds of these things.
It really is. It really is a lot of fun. Let's see. Any other games?
Well, another game aside from Nation Red that I've been getting back into is Amnesia: The Dark Descent. I had originally started playing that game back on my old Gateway laptop. I got pretty far through, I think a good 3/4 of the way through the game, but then I just kind of stopped, probably out of fear. But no, then when I got my new computer, which is practically the same as Ryan's here, then I could finally, crank up the graphics and just really enjoy the game as I think it was meant to be played. It just looks real nice. So then I just kind of wanted to start all over again just to experience the entire game. And I just never got around to it until like now, during summer, now that I have more free time and not working on finals all the time. But no, that is another game that I do highly recommend for people to get, unless if you're easily afraid, because you are going to be crying to yourself.
I played it for all of, I think, 15 minutes, and I was just like, nope, I'm done. I don't like the idea in a game of being completely defenseless.
Oh, I love that idea.
Like even in Silent Hill, because I like Silent Hill 2 a lot, at least you have a piece of wood with a nail in it that you can bash things with.
Well, it increases the amount of tension that you have. You know that there's no way you can fight these things. The only way you can is just run and hide in the shadows. But the problem with that is then you're afraid of the dark, so you gotta balance out the light and the dark. And I don't know, I really enjoy this game. It's just, it scares the hell out of me.
I will give it props for actually being legitimately scary. Because I was legitimately freaking out at certain points in my 15 minutes of playtime. Which you were around to witness, luckily.
Didn't you refuse to wear headphones?
I said, I'm not wearing headphones and we're turning the lights on. It's weird. It's really weird. Like, I can watch horror movies all the, up and down, and I can play a lot of horror games and I don't really have a problem. But there's something about that game. Something about just the fact that, like, the way it plays with your mind, the way it really knows how to scare you by not showing you anything. So every hallway looks freaky. Every little doorway is something you don't want to do. It's like Paranormal Activity. It's like what made that movie really scary and really well done. It was the fact that you didn't see anything.
Yeah.
So I give it props for that. It is legitimately scary.
In any modern day horror genre, quote unquote, games for this, I'm looking at you, Fear 3. Take notes from Amnesia.
Yeah, Fear 3 blew chunks. Can I just say that?
Yeah.
That game was... It's not a bad game. Like,
it's not a bad shooter.
Yeah, it's not a bad shooter.
It's not a bad shooter. It's just, it's not fear.
But it tries to be a horror game on top of it, and it fails miserably. I mean, there were parts in Fear 1 where I legitimately was scared, or it made me jump, and it was hilarious. It was great. I won't say hilarious. I mean, I was scared on my mind, but I mean, like...
Hilarious for other people watching.
Yeah, but it was great. Fear 2, it had less of that, but it was still there. You still had the feeling, the atmosphere was right.
Yeah, there were still some moments in that game where I was legitimately creeped out. I was afraid to go in specific areas just because of how it was set up. But then you get to Fear 3, where
everything's a shooter.
Yeah, you're just basically going from shooting point to shooting point with, like, maybe, I don't know, 5 to stretching at 10-second scary moments.
There was one moment in Fear 3 where I legitimately jumped, and it was right at the beginning when you go to pull the controls to the door to open it, and Alma jumps up on the window that you're looking at. That is the only time. Every other time, all they do is play with the filters and play with the lighting, and play a little giggling girl sound effect.
Well, the thing that they wanted to do with that game was they wanted to have, like, random scares. They just don't.
Well, they're there. They're just not scary. I have noticed things that are different each time I play through it.
Well, to me, it just feels like every single time I'm like, okay, the scare's going to come up right here. Oh, there it is. Okay, the scare's going to come up right here.
Well, there are a lot of predetermined scares that are just going to happen. But there are random scares in the game. They do exist. They're just not as frequent as I think we were both hoping they would be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a shame. That's a
but
real
no,
shame.
Amnesia does it right. If you want to be legitimately scared out of your mind, Amnesia does it absolutely correct. Let's see.
Be sure to check your pants afterwards.
Yeah, I know. The next game I've been working on, that's in my pile, is, I guess, Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii, which was a pain in the ass to get a copy of because it's only available at GameStop, which I always hate when companies do that. It's only exclusively available here.
Yeah.
But I did end up buying it. Been playing through it for a couple hours. I don't, like I said, I'm not an RPG guy, but this was the kind of game that you just can't ignore when it's getting 9.5 out of 10, 8, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those games that wasn't supposed to come over here, and that people petitioned for, and so I felt I had to. Not only did I sign the petition for it, but I figured I might as well reap the benefits.
Oh yeah.
So go out, pick up this game.
If you can find it.
Yeah, if you can find it. Really,
if there's another, like, pre-order list release for this, we do recommend getting it.
Yeah, no,
because it is pretty hard to find.
Yeah, no, used copies go for more than a new copy if you.
Oh yeah.
If you go on Amazon, but it is a blast. I really like this game. The battle system is very unique. Essentially, what happens is when you go into a battle with a creature or another enemy, your character essentially auto attacks every turn. Like, there's not a predetermined turn set, but there is a rhythm to the battle. There is a timing to everything. If anybody's played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, it kind of plays the same as that.
Yeah.
Where they just kind of auto attack if you just leave them alone. And then what you do is you use the... I play with a Classic Controller Pro, so what you do is you use the D-pad to cycle through all of the different special abilities that you have, or healing that you can do, or items that you can use, and that's what you're controlling. You're not controlling the general attacks. You're just controlling the special attacks, the abilities, and the items.
Well, plus you can move around though.
Well, yes, you can move him out of danger if it's a sword guy or a creature that strikes. You can actually move him out of. So there is more to do than just stand there. But I'm saying, like, you don't just go attack, select target, go, attack, select target, go, like in a Final Fantasy or a Golden Sun style game.
Yeah.
It plays a lot more like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which takes a while to get used to, but it is a lot of fun. It really is. The graphics are probably some of the best I've seen on the Wii, and I really like the voice cast they got for this. I know that this game released in Europe before, and so they got an all English voice cast that has really thick European accents, and they didn't change that coming over here. And I know some people might be upset about that, but honestly, I think it gives the game a different kind of flavor. I think it really helps set it apart. from a lot of other RPGs.
Plus, knowing Nintendo, all they do is just hire the same voice actors every single time, so you would get the same voices anyway as you would have in any other game.
Yeah. I was debating between this game and Xseed's Last Story. That was also part of that Project Rainfall petition.
Yeah.
That's actually coming over here as well, but I decided just to get both because I couldn't determine which one I would like better.
Mm-hmm.
I think by reading reviews I'm going to like Last Story better.
Yeah.
But honestly, since I haven't played Last Story, I can't say. One thing I know is Europe got a really nice collector's edition for Xenoblade and Last Story, and I think they also got Pandora's Tower.
Did they?
If I'm not mistaken, I think they did. I don't recall. I might be wrong on that, but I know they got Last Story, and I know they got Xenoblade Chronicles before us in collector's edition, and we didn't get the collector's edition. We just got the game released exclusively through GameStop, which fine. I don't like shopping at GameStop all that often, but if it's something like this, I will suck up my pride and I will go in and I will purchase said game.
Just one thing that I do have to add about Xenoblade is this only affects me because, well,
you don't have a high def set.
I don't have a high def set, but that game was definitely developed for a high definition TV.
Yeah, this game was made with high definition in mind.
And I absolutely cannot play the game because I'm straining my eyes the entire time trying to read everything, and with this being an RPG and you have to read everything, yeah, that doesn't work too well for me.
It is extraordinarily text heavy.
So,
obviously it's an RPG, so that's all relative to me because I don't play a lot of RPGs, but it is a text heavy game. But
even, I would say even if you don't have a high def TV, get it because it is kind of hard to find, and
it's worth it.
It is worth it.
It just is. Like I said, I'm really enjoying the battle system. I'm really enjoying the story so far. I'm not to the point. Apparently, if you get about 4 hours in, from what I understand, the game really opens up and really starts moving forward. And I'm kind of still stuck near the beginning because what I grind a lot when I play RPGs. I grind a lot. One thing that Final Fantasy VII taught me when I first played that game, which was the first major RPG I played, was you need to grind. And so anytime I play an RPG, I don't go out of a town until I'm at least 2 levels above where I was when I started. And in this game, you need to grind. It is a necessity. You can come across, like, you have 3 people in your party, all of which are level 10, let's say. You come across a level 10 creature to kill, you're going to be lucky to come out of that still alive.
With at least one character alive.
Yeah, that level 10 character takes a crap ton of damage, and it will kill you very quickly. So it's not... You're going to need to grind. But, like I said, the graphics, the battle system, everything just really, I think, helps this game flow really well. And if you're a fan of RPGs, check it out. It's very, very fun. So yeah, that's my little take on that so far. But then again, I'm only a couple hours in, so my opinion may change.
Yep, just depends on how long you play it.
Yeah. The only other game that I put any time into at all this week is I've been playing a lot of Binary Domain.
Oh, yeah.
I have the Xbox copy. I also bought it on Steam for the PC, and boy, was that PC port botched.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great game and all. It's basically a third-person shooter. It's done by the same guy who did the Yakuza series, which I only have Yakuza 1 and 2 on PS2, but it is probably my favorite series that Sega does right now, and one of the reasons I picked up a PS3 was just to get the next couple of Yakuza games. But yeah, it's a shooter basically done by him. It's basically Gears of War, but with robots.
But with robots in color.
Yeah, colored robots. It is loads of fun. I really, really like it. The characters are actually likable. This being a Japanese game, instead of being developed in the United States like Epic Games did Gears of War, it's a lot less gung-ho about everything.
Manly, everything's manly.
Yeah,
big
like everything's
chainsaws.
gritty and filtered. Whereas in Binary Domain, everything is really, you're outside a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more to do. The interactions between the characters feel unique.
Well, they feel real to me.
Yeah, they feel... It feels like you're actually conversing with them more so than...
I mean, sure, you don't... You are kind of limited when it comes to your responses to them, but...
Yeah, that's true.
But whenever the characters are interacting with each other, it feels like they're actual, they're actual people.
Yeah, they each have their own personalities. You end up actually liking them. When I finished Gears of War, the original Gears of War on Xbox 360, I really didn't know any characters. I really didn't walk out like going, wow, that's a really good story arc that character had, or something like that in that story. I mean, granted...
Couldn't you not even remember the main character's name?
No, I know the main character's name is Marcus Phoenix. The only reason I know that is because it's such a stupid name. It's like I forget that name of the one character. It's just a really macho name that they came up with. That you could see like the meeting where all the people are sitting around in their suits going, "We need a really macho name for this main character. Mm-hmm. He needs to sound edgy and cool." Mm-hmm. And everybody's got the voice. Everybody in that game has a voice like that's gone over a lawnmower, where everybody talks like this. It's like everybody's trying to do their best Christian Bale impression. It's amazing. Whereas in Binary Domain, I mean, okay, the black guy does kind of Bo. He does kind of play a little bit to type, but everybody else, they're all from different countries. They have different accents. They have their different mannerisms. Mm-hmm. And it really just makes you more invested in seeing them survive because you actually like them. I'm not too far into it, basically because when I bought the game on Xbox, there was not going to be a PC port from what I understood. And then, come to find out, Steam said they were getting it, and Sega's like, well, a lot of people asked for it, so here it is. And so I bought it on PC, and I waited and waited and waited, and I stopped playing the Xbox copy because I wanted to play it on PC because I prefer shooters on the PC. And then when it finally did come out, it was a really badly botched game that...
Yeah, that was a pretty bad port.
Once you kind of reconfigure the controls and figure things out, it's really a good game. But man, to walk into that blind like I was, expecting one thing and getting a whole nother, it's sort of ruined. The only other thing that I mean, everything's really nice about the game. The one major negative I have about any version is the fact that it lacks a cooperative single-player mode.
Yeah.
Which I can see why they left it out, because part of the gameplay is actually getting the characters in your group to trust you.
Yeah, it's based on that trust system.
And so if you were to have a human player playing that character instead of being able to influence them yourself, it could break the game. Or so that's what they say. But I honestly don't see the point of a third-person squad-based shooter without a cooperative single player.
Oh, yeah.
It just seems like the kind of thing that should be mandatory by this point.
Well, the multiplayer on Binary Domain just feels more or less just kind of tacked on than thought out. The multiplayer is definitely an afterthought. It's basically just a wave mode similar to, I guess, Red Nation. No, it's a wave mode similar to Horde mode in Gears of War, and there is an actual online deathmatch multiplayer version, but I haven't played that because there's no games.
Yeah,
no one plays online.
Yeah, nobody plays that game. I had the same problem with Fear 3.
It's a real shame.
It's worth it for the single player alone. Honestly,
oh yeah.
If you want to wait till I wouldn't pay $60 for it like I did on Xbox or PS3. I'd wait for it to drop a bit, but honestly, if you're a shooter fan, it is a blast to play. The single player alone is worth it.
Yeah, I very rarely ever buy a brand new game, and that was one that I did buy, and I really do think I got my money's worth.
Yeah.
Even going through one playthrough, I mean, it was a blast to play.
What'd you say? It clocks in around like 10 hours?
Yeah. The main story clocks in around 10 hours.
Yeah,
so.
It's quite good. I really, really recommend that game. I'm up to the giant spider thing. I'm still trying to get through that because I can't quite figure out how to kill it. I know I gotta blow its legs off, but it's a lot harder than it sounds.
Yeah, getting the last few legs is kind of tricky.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been enjoying that game. That's one I put some time into. Other than that, I've just been kind of piddling through games. I played a bit of Tales of the Abyss. Still getting through that. And that, I think, is pretty much it. Other than, yeah, that's basically all I've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I highly recommend Binary Domain, like I said, and I don't know, Killing Floor is a lot of fun if you like first-person shooters.
First-person shooter, squad-based, wave,
give it a shot.
wave. Go for it.
Well, anyway, we're getting up to the point in our podcast where we really should be wrapping things up. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of Welcome to Bonus Stage. Hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more of these. We are planning on having a fan question and answer section for us, or any guests we bring on. So do leave questions down in the comments. I will be posting this on my YouTube channel, and it will also be posted on oceanofbees.com. So leave some questions down there, and we will get to them next episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and we hope to see you next episode.